I think this camera, I'm not sure if the camera is working now. The Sonny, can you see if this camera is, or maybe one of you can help with this thing. So it's 10:55. I noticed that several other people also joined online, and we have a couple of other people who are in the room also. So let me quickly introduce our speaker. I think that's working.
There you go.
Perfect. Thank you.
Four.
No, it's chasing you. That's chasing you. You get the way. All right. So let me tell you a little bit about our speaker today. As a professional, are we all set?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. As a professional networker and also the LinkedIn guru, Jeff Young has provided nearly 200 free LinkedIn workshops in the last 3 years alone. He has been on LinkedIn since 2004. I don't know when LinkedIn started, but I think that was early because we invited LinkedIn, one of the directors, to come to CSIX when they just started. And I said, what's LinkedIn? And he explained, I said, oh, come on. Okay, I'm not interested. That was a very bad judgment on my part at that time. He does not provide one-on-one training at all on consulting. His focus is on free seminars. He offers free seminars. Jeff is a former director and account manager with Intellinks and has helped manage and mentor thousands of people in many different organizations. Since his retirement, Jeff has been deeply involved in community service by volunteering for and helping manage several local nonprofit organizations. CSIX is one of them. Most recently, Jeff has been devoting his time to being a professional networker, teaching networking and LinkedIn, and has trained thousands of professionals in how to maximize their networking skills and best utilize networking tools. Please see his LinkedIn, which he's going to be talking about today. And I think Ian is going to put his link, Jeff's LinkedIn on chat as well. Okay, with that, please join me in welcoming Mr. Jeff Young. Jeff, you got the stage.
Yeah, thank you, Hamid. Namaste,
Sure.
everyone, which is, of course, what a guru would say. Yeah, thank you, Ian. You dropped all those links that I provided you before into the chat, which is great. Thank you so much for doing that. That's the most current version of those as well. I appreciate it. Hello, folks. If you look at my profile, which I hope you do many times from here on out, because my profile is available and it's got free stuff on it. It's available 24/7, 365. But the first thing, hopefully, you'll notice as I show you and you look at my profile is you'll see that I'm a teacher. Okay, which is, by the way, what you find when you look up the word guru in the dictionary. You see the word teacher. Okay, so I'm the LinkedIn teacher. And you will also see in my banner page, for example, at the very top of my page, I'm a teacher. What's your superpower? Which is, of course, why I've got the boy in blue behind me today as well. So now, more than anything today, what I want to really have happen is to answer any question you have about LinkedIn. I've got stuff I could show you. I could show you stuff for the next 8 hours. Okay, we could be here for the next day if you really wanted me to, but I don't think that's what you want. And not what I want either. What I would rather do is show you and tell you what you need to know. So that means you need to ask me questions. So you can drop the questions in the chat. You can drop the questions to Hamid or Ian, okay, in person, and they'll relay it to me, and I will show you what I can to answer your question. Does that sound like a deal? Okay. Do I see a head nod or two here every Wednesday? Okay.
Yes.
That's
the deal.
Okay. Yeah. That's the tough part about virtual. I can't see the head nods, and I can't hear your head hit the table when I put you to sleep. So I'm promised not to try not to do that. All right. So before I go anywhere, okay, and show you anything, let me ask, is anybody actually put a question? Does anybody have a question? Raise your hand, do it, whatever you want to, just to indicate you have a question about LinkedIn and where you want to go and what you want to do with LinkedIn and how to do something, anything at all.
Hold on a second. Stephanie says, can't hear you. Yeah,
Stephanie got my joke.
yeah, that's right.
Get here, my head here at the table. Yeah, I don't want to put you to
Stephanie's,
sleep. Believe me,
I
I don't
think
want to.
Stephanie's in Oregon, right?
So,
Are you still in
hi.
Oregon?
Yes, I'm in Oregon. I'm in Portland, Oregon. Since nobody has a question, I will ask sort of a nebulous one. I don't know if you remember tags on LinkedIn, which I still really, really, really miss, because you used to be able to say, oh, I know this person from C6. Oh, I know this person from my St. John's alumni. Oh, I know this person from, you could say where you knew them from, and you could put multiple tags on the same person. Well, they removed them a while ago, and I still haven't found any substitute. Curious as to your thoughts.
Well, when you say tag, Stephanie, it's all a matter of have you looked anything up in the help on tag, or the word tag, and tried to find something about tagging? Because I don't think you're going to find very much, because what
No, they
LinkedIn.
removed the feature. It was called
Okay.
tags,
Okay.
and they removed it a number of years ago now.
Okay. Okay. But
I was just wondering if you had a different thought on how to keep track of where you met people or whatever.
Oh.
I mean, yes, I know you can keep a list outside of LinkedIn.
Yeah.
I would love a way to do that inside of
Yeah.
LinkedIn.
Yeah, okay. I see what you're talking about now. You're talking about some of the old things where you used to be able to put notes on a person that would tell you where you met and maybe the last time you talked. And yeah, you could drop several different kinds of notes on there. And actually, that unfortunately that does still exist, but it just doesn't exist for free people. Okay. Yeah, it's there. So there is no way inside of LinkedIn. The thing that I use, though, in kind of a substitute for that, Stephanie, is because I'm constantly doing direct messages back and forth. Okay, I'll put something in the messaging and drop that there as well. Okay, so that's one way of doing it.
Yeah, I'm doing a little of that. I need to get better at it, but it's hard to phrase it. Like I might say, oh, I really enjoyed talking with you today. But then when I look at that a year from now, that doesn't tell me enough.
Yeah.
So I need to get better at putting more in the message, but sometimes what I want to put in message for me sounds weird to the other person. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Well, and now one of the things that you can help yourself with, for example, is did you know that for every person that you're connected with, you can go to their profile and you can find out when you connected with them as a reminder?
I don't know. Show us that.
Okay, sure. I can show you
Does it?
that.
I wonder how far back it goes because.
Oh, no, it's forever. Okay.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, it's no matter how long ago you've connected with a person, you can go find out the day, the month, not the exact date, but the month and year that you connected. So let me show you. Okay. I'll share my screen real quickly. Everybody see my screen now? Everybody good? Got it? Okay. All right. So let's do this with Ian. Okay. Oops. Hang on. I do not want to be there. I want to be. All right. Cut it out. Quit it. It thinks I'm in a group. So hang on a second. Okay, I was in a group earlier, so that's why I thought that. All right, so now there I can go search Ian again because I searched Ian before. If you bring up anybody's profile, okay, that you're connected with, okay, and you look at their contact information, click that contact information link there. Down at the bottom of that contact information, in addition to whatever else they've provided, okay, is when you connected. The actual date.
Interesting.
That he and I connected was August 15th, 2021. So now it doesn't give you obviously why you connected or where you connected or anything along those lines, but that's nice information to have sometimes, okay, when you're talking to someone that you haven't talked to for a while. So as you can see, Ian and I have been connected now for over 3 years. Okay. So now, by the way, while we're on that subject, okay, here's one that and the thing that hopefully, I will have done my job today if I can actually show each of the people in this audience one thing that they didn't know about LinkedIn. Okay. So I just showed you something that you didn't necessarily know. Okay. Here's another one probably that because LinkedIn loves to hide stuff. You know, I'm always going searching for buried treasure on LinkedIn because it is almost always buried. And some of the other stuff that is buried is some of this kind of stuff under like this button here. When you go to someone else's profile, no matter whether you're connected with them or not, there'll be a more button. And when you see the more, the thing that I want to point you to is something called at the bottom here about this profile. You can gather a little bit of information about this person, get a little bit more of a feel about this person if you use the about this profile, because that will tell you when they joined LinkedIn. Okay, so notice that it says that Ian joined LinkedIn in June of 2014. So he's been on LinkedIn over 10 years now. Okay, and it also tells you to a degree how active they might have been in keeping up their information on LinkedIn. So right now it says that he hasn't changed his contact information in over a year. Okay, and his profile photo was updated less than a week ago. So that's good. He's kept that information up. Okay. Now, another good thing that I want to mention about that. Okay, so any questions about that? By the way, it will also tell you if or not. I mean, it'll show up if you do. Ian has gone to the trouble of using Clear, which is a free, well, it's a TSA service, the travel service for airlines, for example, and using his government ID, which was probably a driver's license, to verify his account. That's also a good thing, because when you see a verified account, you know that it has actually been verified, that it's real. Okay, there are a lot of fake people out on LinkedIn. This is the internet, folks. Okay, so literally there are about 1 billion people on LinkedIn, but at least 10% of those people are fake. There are fake accounts out there on LinkedIn, and LinkedIn's constantly trying to get rid of them, and that's one of the ways that they're trying to do that is go through the verification. And if you want to know how to verify your account, find someone like Ian or myself, okay, who has verifications. Go to about this profile and then click on learn how members verify information, and it'll take you to the help on verifications and how to do the different options of verification, because there are different options depending on where you are in the world and what kinds of things that you have that you could use, like your driver's license or a work email or something along those. Okay. How are we doing? Next question. Anybody?
Yeah, sure. If you're just taking questions. So my most recent inbound inquiry was from a headhunter off LinkedIn. And they told me they found me using very specific keywords, probably school names, employer names. So I definitely pursued the opportunity, but I haven't heard back. But lesson learned is I kind of wonder whether I need to make my LinkedIn profile more like the keywords, a bit more generic, so I get more hits for the inbound. So any feedback, you know where I'm going.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Jackie, for that question, because that's very, very valid. You're going to get found based on what kind of keywords are on your profile. So you need to have the right kind of keywords on your profile. I mean, there's an old joke, right? Everybody's probably heard that old real estate joke. Okay, what's the most important thing in real estate? Location, location, location. Okay, the three most important things in real estate are location, location, location. Three most important things on your profile are keywords, keywords, keywords. Okay, so you have to have the right keywords associated with your profile, on your profile, so that you make sure that you can get found for what it is that you want to be found for in the first place. And that focus should be on what you want to be, not what you were necessarily before. Okay, so manipulating the keywords and maybe even the titles that you put in on some of your job experience and those kind of things, to have the right kind of keywords there so that you can be found is extremely, extremely important. One of the things that was in one of the links, okay, that was in the chat that Ian put out there for me, okay, with those social links, is there was something that was called it was down toward the bottom of those links where it was called participate. And I'll actually use it now to go to it, and then I'll share it. Okay, because where it is, oh no, I'm sorry, that was the wrong one, not participate. It was profile. Yep. And I'll show you how to find it as well. Let me share my screen again. Okay. Now sharing my screen, you should see, okay, you're going to see Ian. Okay, here's the one that I'm talking about. This is an actual newsletter that I've created on LinkedIn that is called Be Effective on LinkedIn by the Numbers. Now you can actually go to Google and look that up. If you actually go type that title into Google, you'll find it as well. But you will also find it if you go to, okay, let me show you how you find all of these kinds of things on my profile. So go to my profile, okay, scroll down when it comes up, when my profile comes up, which it should be coming up now. There we go. When my profile comes up, scroll down to my featured section. Look for something that calls the LinkedIn Guru Gazette, which is my newsletter. There's my newsletter. Click on the newsletter and it will list all of my newsletters, and then scroll down just a little ways. It's down a ways, but it is a newsletter that, as I said, you scroll down till you see the numbers. There it is. Okay. Be effective on LinkedIn by the numbers. So that's how you can find it. Now, what this will help you do is it will help you identify keywords. It will help you place the keywords at the correct spots on your profile. Okay. And utilizing those keywords, it will then allow you to make sure that you're going to get found for what you want to be found for. Now, I'll pause here for just a minute for some any other question related to this, because I want to show you a couple more things about this, but I want to pause and give you a chance to maybe clarify anything that I just said or repeat anything I just said. Anybody have any questions about what I said just recently so far? Deep?
Yeah, hi. So my question is, so I was just can you hear me?
Barely.
Oh, okay. Usually I'm very loud.
It's okay. I'll turn my volume up. Go ahead.
Okay. So I was just chatting with a recruiter today in the morning, and he said, oh, I didn't know you're in California. When I was looking for a product manager in California, your profile didn't come up. I was connected to him, and I asked him, what keywords were you looking for? And he said product owner. And and my whole profile says product manager. It doesn't say product owner anywhere. So I wanted to know, how do I get an insight into possible keywords that recruiters are using, and where do I put them in my profile? Well,
just what you just did, have a conversation with a recruiter, okay, that says, what are you looking for and what are you searching for when you're looking for it, okay, to match it up. You can also ask other people who are in the same field as you are and look at their profiles to see what their keywords are, okay, so that you could utilize those keywords, and that will help you. There's nothing wrong at all, Deep, with having what'd you say was on your profile? Product manager. Okay, there's absolutely nothing wrong at all with putting on your profile product manager, comma, product owner. Okay, at the same time.
Where do I put it? In the about section, in the headline?
Well, okay, thank you. That's a good lead in. Let me give you the real deep, sorry, no pun intended, the deep learning about where you put keywords on your profile so that they'll make a difference. Okay. So now I'll have to show you on my profile, but here are the sections that are really extremely important, okay? For example, my real keywords are, I've learned over time that the ones that are helping me get found the most for what I want to do are LinkedIn trainer and LinkedIn training, okay? And as you can see, it's gonna be all over my profile. I'll show you where all those keywords show up. So the first place that they can show up in text, okay, for example, is here. This is something called your professional headline. So your headline is 220 characters worth of space, but you can at least use that space to put something in your profile that has the keywords top dead center, okay, right up at the top, so the people who come to your profile will see that headline and use it as well. Now you can put those keywords, by the way, I could put, I put my hashtag as an example here. Okay, I put hashtag the LinkedIn Guru up here in my banner, but because that is a graphic, the search programs are never going to find it inside there. It's because it's a graphic. Search programs search for text. Okay, so text, looking at text, the first place that you want to put those keywords are here in your headline. Okay, and in Yes Deep, the next place that you want to put those is in your About section. And now the good news is about your About section is that you have 2,600 characters as opposed to 220 in your headline. So 2,600 characters where you can put those keywords and repeat those keywords and use those keywords in sentences so that you can help yourself get found. Now, the good news is that's 2,600 characters. The bad news is that unless somebody clicks the see more button, they're never going to see anything but the first 4 lines. So you might want to make sure that you front load. And oh, by the way, that's true here too. You might want to make sure that you front load this, because even though people will see a portion of your headline, if you actively comment on someone else's post or something like that, they might not see your entire headline unless they're looking at your profile. So front loading things is good in the text as well, so that it's got a better chance of actually being seen. But this is actually 2,600 characters. Okay. Now, there are 2 more places. The next place that you want to make sure that you put those keywords is anytime you get a chance to put those keywords in your experience section. So that's why, again, LinkedIn training, LinkedIn trainer, okay, and the third one, LinkedIn tips for me, is something that I've got, as you can see, in every single one of the listings that I got out here. It's going to have those keywords in it for every single experience listing that I've got. Okay. Then one more place. If at all possible, you can go down to your skills section and add that thing that you want as a keyword as a skill as well, then that would really be good to do as well. So let's test this one. You said product owner, okay? I want to bring this up. So what I just did there was click, you notice what I just did there? I clicked the plus sign to add a skill, okay? Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start typing product. So the difference is that I could put product owner in as a skill, but apparently product owner, nope. Product owner is not a skill that is in LinkedIn's database. This is a very key. When you're adding something, any place where you can type something in and there's a pull down, okay? The things that show up in the pull down are a part of LinkedIn's database, and they have a special name. They're actually called market value titles. And they're called market value titles because they have a higher market value. So product owner is not, but product manager, if I actually spell it right, okay? Oh, okay, manager. Okay, product manager isn't either, but product management is. Okay, so honestly, it might be very, very helpful for you to actually go out on your profile and wherever you've used the word product manager, okay, to put the word product management instead. That would actually help you, okay, because that is one of LinkedIn's, okay. You know, and if you don't have product management as a skill, you better put it on your profile right now, okay, as an example. But product manager, unfortunately, is not a market value title. It's not a skill. But it might be something they search for, so be careful. You know,
It's a job title they search for.
yeah, and again, market value titles and skills are kind of the same thing, but not necessarily.
Yeah.
Okay,
Can I ask a follow-up question?
sure, please.
So you're talking about the skills. So somebody advised me, like if I apply to a job and then they will show me that 7 of 10 skills match. So I look at the remaining 3 and I add it to my to some previous experience so that, you know, it's a better match when the recruiter sees it. And this person told me, maximize your skills for every job. So I have every skill listed for every job. Things like organization skills, it's there, every job, right? So
Right.
I have like 50 skills in every job. And now somebody else looked at me and said, that's too much overkill. Reduce it to like 5-6 skills per job. What do you suggest?
Well, it's not going to show them all anyway. I mean, unless
Right.
someone really looks deeply, they'll never see them anyway. And I would always suggest making those linkages, okay, because that's another plus as well. making those linkages inside of LinkedIn, because that will also help you get found. Okay, so no matter what, you know, those skills are important to list here in your skills section, but it's also important for you to make those linkages to each of the experiences that you have, so that those skills get related to it, so that they will actually then show up in more search results. Again, it's really not, it's not lying and it's not overkill. It's really utilizing the system for how it really works. Okay. Now, by the way, if you've got while we're on the subject of skills, I'm going to discard adding that skill. While we're on the subject of skills, here's something probably that you folks did not know as well. And that is, no matter how many skills you have. Oh, by the way, does anybody, well, I want to ask you, I'll tell you, okay. There used to be a maximum on LinkedIn for skills of 50, okay. There is now a maximum of LinkedIn on LinkedIn of skills of 100. You could actually put 100 skills on your profile. Now, just because you can put 100 skills on your profile doesn't really mean that you should put 100 skills on your profile. You need to put the skills that will be the most skills that will help you get found for what you want to be. Okay, so whether or not that's 3 or 33, okay, and in my case, it's actually 31, okay. I have 31 skills on my profile that are helping me get found exactly the number of times that I really want to be found, okay. Now, one of the other things that is the thing about skills, though, and this is true in some instances, but not all instances around LinkedIn, is that did you know that you can actually reorder your skills so that you can bring the most strategic skills that you want to be found for first up to the top? Okay. LinkedIn loves to hide stuff. Okay. So in order to, once you've got your skills in there, once you're starting to get endorsements on your skills, okay, go here to edit your skills. Okay, see the edit button? Okay. Once you are editing the skills, go to the magic 3 dots, because if you go to the magic 3 dots, you will actually find a hidden icon that says reorder. And then when you click reorder, you can actually take these and click on them and drag them and wherever you want, and you can put up to the top 3. It really only applies to the top 3 or 5. So you should put the top 3 skills that you want to be found for up at the top of your skills list. And again, you want to really make sure that those lists are listed in your titles as well. Okay, make sense? Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah. That's an important one, because that is a real key on how you're going to get found. It's really one of the most important things in terms of putting the right things in those 4 areas: your headline, your about section, your experience section, and your skills section. That's, you know, you could have a recommendation that mentions something that, you know, that would even say product owner or project manager, but recommendations are great. They're good for social proof. They're good that once someone comes to your profile and looks, they'll see that you've been recommended. But having that stuff in your recommendations is not going to help get you found, because it's not one of the sections that is actually searched when somebody's going through a search on LinkedIn. Okay. Now, I imagine, any other questions before I go on? Thank you for those questions. Those are great questions. Okay, so I haven't looked at the chat. I don't know if there are any in the chat or not, but I'm gonna go on. All right, so now I'm imagining for most people that, you know, are on LinkedIn and are spending some time on LinkedIn, they're spending a little bit of time here on the Jobs tab. Okay, a couple of things I want to show you about the Jobs tab, or actually, I want to show you that are missing from the Jobs tab. Okay, is really over here, and this will probably, it looks different based on who you are, and it looks different based on whether or not you pay for LinkedIn. Okay, before, even on my free account, there were 2 things over here that I want to show you right now that are important things, and I want to show you them because of the fact that you can use them to help you in terms of going through the job search process. But they're not listed here. But just because they're not listed and you can't find them anywhere else doesn't mean you can't get to them. Okay, and the 2 things I'm talking about are, and let me go here and bring up, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to hang on, I need frequent. I'm going to give you a link to these things that I'm going to put in the chat, and then maybe Ian can make sure everybody gets it. But the first one is something called interview prep. Okay. And the second one, come on. We gotta go to the frequent help links again. And the second one is something called resume. All right. Now, okay. Well, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put, hang on. I want to grab the right link here, because that link up there is not going to work. Here we go. This is what I want to give you. So I'll copy that. And then I will open the chat. And I will drop that link in the chat. That's for interview prep. Okay. And now let me go to the other one. Okay. And let's see if this one comes up. Interview prep, resume builder. That should work. Let me double check to make sure though. Resume builder. Okay, hold on. Edit this. Yep, that's the right one. Okay, so I'll copy that as well and drop that in the chat. All right, now, these two things are two separate things, and I want to go with them one at a time here and show you what I'm talking about. This used to be free. It's still free, but you can't find it. So that link that I gave you is the only way that you're going to be able to find it, which means you have to be on a desktop and on a browser, because it's a bookmark. You can't do that same kind of thing on a phone app, okay, or on an iPad or anything like that. So has anybody ever used interview prep before? Have you ever seen it before? Anybody got any experience you want to share? No? Okay. Here's what interview prep will do for you, is it will allow you for free to practice answering these types of questions, 26 different questions, okay, as to how you should practice and get feedback about how you can do that. So you can literally practice it. You can actually, if you practice and get feedback, you can either record a video or you can write your own response, and LinkedIn will provide you feedback, and others will provide you feedback about how they thought that answer fit to the question and how well it did. Okay? And these are really, really helpful. That's why they call it interview prep. Really, really helpful for helping you prepare for an interview, because, you know, I don't remember an interview I ever had that it didn't start off with this question. Tell me about yourself. Okay. And how should you respond with that? And how should you go with that? Okay. And this will then, each of these that you click on will give you some idea about, and give you the ability to practice for it, but it will also then show you for free, even though premium gives you more, it will give you free at least some sample answers and how they go. And there's almost always a video here from someone on LinkedIn, okay, from someone at LinkedIn. I think usually is the person from LinkedIn who's actually showing you how to do this. Okay, well, this is a person that's a hiring manager, and he's had 876,000 views of this link about this video about how he answered the question, what's your greatest strength? Okay, does that sound helpful to you? I hope you can use that. Okay, the next one is resume builder. Now, what you would normally do here is the first thing you would do is you would create something that LinkedIn calls a resume online from your profile. Okay, so it will take your profile and put it into a resume format and drop it out there, which is what I did here, okay, back in September. And then once you do that, you can use that to go look at it, and it will give you feedback about keywords. This is more feedback about keywords. So if I open this resume that I created before, what you will see is that You can then look at it, how it's formatted, et cetera, et cetera. You can even download it if you want to. But more important than anything else, you can do what LinkedIn calls a keyword check against a particular desired job title. So for example, this is the one that I use as an example all the time because it actually says for the job title, Human Resources Manager, LinkedIn found in my profile, my resume created from my profile, these keywords that were absolutely great and a match to what they would normally use. And then it also suggests a couple more keywords that I might want to use. So here's another way of getting a suggestion about keywords you might want to add, okay, to your profile. Okay, everybody understand what this is doing? This is taking what you have on LinkedIn, creating a resume format out of it, and then using a job title, okay, to go against that to say how well does it match up from the keyword standpoint. So for example, okay, Human Resource Manager's got quite a few matches. But if I were to change that job title from Human Resource Manager to Project Manager, watch the difference in the check boxes that it shows. Now, I used to be a project manager, but that's not what I'm interested in doing now. So it only comes up with a couple that it found in my resume instead of all those other ones that it showed when I had Human Resource Manager. Okay, so it can give you an idea, but then it also suggests more keywords, again, that are possible that it would help me out in terms of looking for a project manager job if I were doing so. Okay, so now I need to turn this back. So give me a second here while I change it back. And I will also ask. Oops. There we go. Human Resources Manager. Apply that one back, and you'll see that what happened. There we go. And you'll see that it's back to the way it was before, and showing the checkboxes against the keywords that it found for me on my LinkedIn, if you will, resume. Okay. Questions? I don't see any hands. Anybody got any questions?
No, but also here.
Say what? I'm sorry, I couldn't hear that.
It's okay, no question here.
No questions? Okay, no questions from the audience. Are you still awake, folks? Come on now. Anything you want to know, I can help you with.
So I have a question. Thank you. It's been
Okay.
really helpful.
Thank you,
I want to
Sharon.
know, because I mean, we have to have some sort of basic resume that we put into LinkedIn, but we use a resume builder from LinkedIn to kind of elevate our online resume on LinkedIn. Is what I'm hearing.
Well, it's kind of the other way around. Once you've got something on LinkedIn, you can use Resume Builder to show you what that looks like. And then you could actually make changes based on what you see there as well. Okay.
I see.
Well, but you bring up a good point. Okay. You got to start someplace. So
Right.
the place you start is if you've got a resume, you should probably put some of the information that is in that resume on your LinkedIn profile. Okay. However, the difference between the two is really key and important, Sharon, because your resume and LinkedIn profile are two different tools for two different purposes. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Usually a resume gets modified every single time you're looking for a job. That's what they tell us, right? You should tailor your resume to a job description.
Right.
Okay, so that's fine. You should do that with your resume, but you should not do that on your LinkedIn profile. Your LinkedIn profile is a much broader perspective and will actually help you get found more in terms of a broad perspective because it's got more possibilities and more possibilities of keywords. It is not related to 1 to 2 pages, which is usually the rule of thumb that people talk about as far as resumes is concerned as well.
Mm-hmm.
It is a web page. It is online. It is social media. So not only can it be bigger, it can be as big as you want. I mean, if you look at my profile, you could scroll for, well, not hours, but you could scroll for a long time and you can see a whole bunch of stuff that I would never put on my resume because I don't have room. I would not have room. Okay. So the point being is that, and the tone and the formality of what you have online can be different as well on LinkedIn because of the fact that it's social media. Okay. And they don't call it social media for nothing. Oh, and they also don't call it social media for nothing as well. I mean, a lot of people will try to put a few graphics or something like that on their resume, but graphics take up a lot of room. There is tons of room for graphics and media on LinkedIn, as you can see by my profile, because if you look at my profile, there's media all over the place. Okay, okay.
I see.
Jeff, I had a question.
Yeah.
One of the,
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, Sharon, does that answer your question?
Yes, I think I know what you're saying. You're saying that LinkedIn could be the superset of what your resume is. And your
Absolutely.
resume kind of have to be multifaceted because you will change according to the job role you're applying, like a product manager or human resources.
Right. Because again, they're two different tools and they're two different tones. Because you can be a lot less formal on LinkedIn. That doesn't mean you don't need to be professional, but you can be a lot less formal on LinkedIn than you can in a resume, as an example. Oh, and for example, one of the big changes that I always hear about is that you never use the word "I" on your resume. At least that's what I've always been told. It's okay to use it's okay to use first person on LinkedIn. You should tell a story.
Right. So the other thing, sorry, the other guy was asking. I heard that the profile should be about you, kind of tell people like a piece information about you, so kind of make it relatable to the hiring manager. Is that still true?
Yes. Personable is the
Right.
word.
Like set the tone, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
That's the right tone. That's exactly right.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, Samuel, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
yeah. So one of the things that I've found with LinkedIn is that, whenever they advertise an opportunity or a position, if you don't, uh, within 24 hours, there are 100 odd applications, and then, I'm told that recruiters look at maybe the first 20, 30 at most, and then, if you are in the 101, they don't even, it doesn't even get addressed or even accessed. Is that first of all, is that true? Or how do you, if it is true, how do you address it? I mean, how do you go about taking advantage of or leveraging LinkedIn to apply for positions? Because it seems like a challenging,
Okay.
task.
Yeah, no, but there are a couple of things that you can do. To answer your question, I don't know if that is true. My gut feeling on that would be that it would depend on the recruiter or the company and how they process things. Okay. If they are doing something from a search perspective, yeah, I mean they may, obviously they put the job out there and they're doing it, but then I don't think it is in their best interest if they don't go through as many of the applications that they get as they, and a lot of times I think a lot of things get eliminated, if you will, because of the automatic things that happen. Okay, I mean the ATSs and those kind of things that go through the process. So one of the things that I would tell you that I would do to help myself possibly get more traction, okay, in those terms is that I would not only apply through LinkedIn, but I would also apply through the company's website. Okay, because having it come from two different directions is a really good thing. Okay. And you've got a possibility, you've got a chance then, Samuel, of having it come from different directions and having different people see it and having different systems look at it, again, the ATS and those kind of things, right? Okay, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Now,
And just one, go ahead.
Go ahead, because I've
Yeah,
got
no,
more.
I was going to ask you, you mentioned about the ATS as being the one that sometimes can screens things. How do you make sure that your resume complies with ATS? Is there a simple way of doing it?
Well, you don't have to do anything special. I think the thing that you need to make sure of on your resume and on your LinkedIn profile or whatever is what we talked about before, is the match of the keywords. Especially on your resume, if you're applying and you're going through the ATS system with a resume, okay, as opposed to your LinkedIn profile, you need to tailor that resume to be as close to a match as possible. So that's how you get around that for the most part. I don't even think there used to be, and I'm talking about this now from what I'm hearing from a lot of the recruiters that I hear and a lot of companies that I hear from, is that they don't, the ATS systems are not so restrictive anymore that you have to have a quote unquote ATS compatible resume. Okay, so it's not about that. It's not about whether or not it's in the right format. What it is nowadays is whether or not it's got the right information. Okay, and that goes back to the keywords. Okay, does that make sense?
Thank you. Yes, thank
Now-
you.
Now back to your previous question as well. Okay, in addition to, okay, so possibly apply through the website, possibly apply through LinkedIn as well. There was one point in time that the application process through LinkedIn really, well, I think the technical term was sucked. Okay, it was really bad at one point in time, and I used to tell people not to, but now I tell people, yeah, it's good. It works now, and it should be. They've had enough experience with it that it should help you. So go there as well. But also then maybe go to the website of the company, and because sometimes applying through LinkedIn doesn't put you in the company's system, and that's it's something that that won't help you. Now, another thing is that you need to, as soon as you've done an application on the through their ATS system or through their website or on LinkedIn, the very next thing you need to do is you need to go look at that company and find out if at all or who you might know, or you might know someone who knows someone, okay, from that company. Because the very next thing that you need to do is you need to start talking with people in that company once you've applied to that job, so that you can start telling those folks how interested you are in being and doing that job that you just applied for. And oh, by the way, if they know you well enough, okay, because that's kind of how I got my last job, is if they know you well enough, you could actually provide them a copy of your resume, and they can hand carry it to the hiring manager. Okay.
Okay.
So again, utilizing a network so that you can maximize the connections that you have in that network to get you as far in the process as possible. Because I guarantee you, this is kind of what happened to me. I guarantee you that if I'd just done a resume and shipped it through their web page and et cetera, okay, and then and then not done anything else, if I contact someone I know and they are willing to take my resume, hand carry it to someone, guess where that resume goes? Right on top of the stack, because that person is already using their reputation to forward your reputation so that you can actually be helped. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
And one more thing. There's one thing again that is another hidden feature, okay, that I want to show you now before we go on and show you anything else. And that is that if you've got a target company, you need to definitely go out there on LinkedIn and follow that target company. Okay, you click a follow button. You can follow a company, you can follow a person. Okay, if you go to my profile, you can click follow, and you can follow me if you want to, and make sure that you click a double bell for me so that you get all of the notifications about what I put out there if you want to see my stuff. Okay, but from the standpoint of a company, there is actually, in addition to following a company, for certain companies who have implemented this, there is actually a way for you to actually express interest in working for that company that is totally separate. Okay, so let me show you one of the instances where I know that this works. Let me share my profile. Oh, share my screen. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to LinkedIn, and I'm going to go look at a company that I brought up before. This is a company that I know has this, okay? Now, I don't know whether you guys know Cardinal Health. Cardinal Health is actually based here in Dublin, Ohio, but it's a worldwide company, okay? But you go to the company page, and there's the follow button. You can first of all click that follow button. That's a good thing, because if you click the follow button, that will mean that LinkedIn will start feeding you stuff in your homepage feed that is about updates for this company, which of course it doesn't hurt to go back to this company page and see what they posted as well. But here is the thing, okay? You can learn a little bit about the company. You can see what kinds of posts they're doing. You can see some highlights about the company for sure. The recent job openings, of course. Okay, I recommend this for any target company. Check this on any target company that you have, because they may have one extra thing that will be able to help you tell that company that you're interested in working for them. And that is, you will not see it on the home button. Okay, you will not see it on the home, when you go to the home page for the company on LinkedIn, but you will see it in one, the other, or both the about or the life tabs. If I click about, and this company has implemented it so that they can be notified, okay, this is what you're looking for. Interested in working with us in the future, click the I'm interested button. That will literally tell Cardinal Health that you are interested in being an employee for them and being interested in being employed by them in the future. And that puts you higher in the results again than someone else who hasn't done that. Now, the other place you'll find this is you might also find it under the life okay, maybe one or the other or both places. You'll also find that interested button under the life section as well. This will only happen if you have if a company has implemented this and they show it on their LinkedIn page. Okay, let me pause there. Deep, I see you have your hand up.
Yeah, so I'm concerned if I follow the company, will they start spamming me with a lot of emails and things? What happens?
No,
Just
no,
the one
no.
time?
I doubt really anyone at the company for that piece of it, the follow. I doubt anyone at the company would actually take note that you follow them. Okay, because well, I mean, look at it this way. Cardinal Health has 661,000 followers. Okay, so they're not spamming people based on that. That's just a connection that you're making through LinkedIn that says I want to see more about the company. Okay, so I wouldn't be worried about spam or anything like that.
And there's also a follow button, like just there you see the follow button. What's the difference between this follow and that I'm interested?
Well, the follow is something that puts something on your feed. In your feed, it will start showing you posts by the company. Okay, when you go on to LinkedIn. Okay, you may be notified about it, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, the button that is for I'm interested goes to someone special inside the company because they set it up special to figure out who is interested and have a pipeline, if you will, of possible employees, and that goes a totally separate place. Okay, so again, you turning this on will allow them to know that, and I think if I'm told correctly, it actually could last upwards of a year worth of time, because you can also, by the way, if you said you're interested and then change your mind later on, you could say you're not interested by unclicking it. And the same thing with follow. If you follow the company and you're no longer interested in the company, you can go back to that company and unfollow the company as well.
Okay.
But they go two separate directions. That's really the key.
And if I follow a company, then everybody who visits my profile can see which companies I'm following. But if I'm interested, then they won't know which companies I'm interested in.
They can, but it's really kind of tough for them to do. I mean, for example, let me look at Ian. Okay, I looked at Ian many times here earlier today. I mean, if I look at his profile, I can see the companies that he's interested in, but it's way, way down here. You have to know exactly how to do this. Okay, it's way, way down here and under interests, which is one of the last sections of it. And here then are the companies. So yes, it will tell me if I look at companies, it will tell me the companies that and apparently he's not following that many. Okay, so here's all the companies, okay, that Ian is interested in, and that
Is
brings
this
up
interested or is this follow? Because that's my thing.
Follow.
I'm applying to hundreds of companies. I don't want people
I
to see
think it's
hundreds of follows.
yeah. I think it's follow. Otherwise, there would not be a way for them to show up here. Okay.
Okay.
So I think those are companies that he's following. That's my guess anyway, because he's interested in those companies, and that's why. I mean, that's why it's under the interest section. Okay, these are companies that he is interested enough to follow.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Other questions? I don't see anything yet.
So along the same lines, if I do an easy apply for a job,
Mhm.
once you hit the submit, you're close to hitting the submit button. There is a thing also follow the company. So that's the follow. That's not I'm interested.
That's correct. When it says follow, that's different than I'm interested.
Okay.
Yes. Well, and they're making an assumption here because you're applying to the company. They're making an assumption that you want to hear about the company, okay, which is why the follow is there.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. All right, so let's see. Okay,
You can follow companies that you're not interested in.
Sorry, what did you say?
I said you can follow companies that you're not interested in.
did you say should you?
No, you can.
Oh, yeah, you can follow any company you want, even if you're not interested in. Yeah. Yeah, again, the follow puts stuff in your feed, so that's why that's there.
Okay.
Okay. Let's see, we're down to about the last 10 minutes or so here. Let me show you one more thing that's kind of hidden that I want to make sure that you know about as well, because it's kind of a fairly new feature on LinkedIn and could make a great deal of difference in the way that you look for jobs. Okay, so on the jobs tab, let's say that you've done a search for a particular job. So I'm going to use one that I've done in the past, and I'm going to search for a project manager in the Columbus, Ohio metropolitan area. I'd already done this search before, and it pops it up for me. And it says there are 31 results. Now, that's great, but what is changed here and what is new here is that LinkedIn has added a filter that I want to make you aware of. Remember I told you earlier that there are 10% of the jobs, 10% of the people that are out there on LinkedIn are fake people? Well, LinkedIn realized that they were having a problem with fake jobs as well. People were listing jobs and they weren't real jobs. And they wanted to make sure that they put in place a way that you can make sure that you verify that this is a real job. This is really coming from the company. This is really a real job. And when I get 31 results, if I want to make sure that I'm only looking at verified jobs, come over here to the All Filters button, click it, and then scroll down a little ways. Can you guys see this? Okay. And what we're looking for here is the filter that says has verifications. So when I turn that on and I show the results, it will go down from 31 to 19. Okay, so that the results will only show me 19. Now, the way that I can see that it's going to be different is that that little job right there that is the same as a verification symbol that's on a person's profile, that one that is right next to this job also shows that it is a verified job. This job, for example, STE Safe Product Manager is not verified. Data Center Communicate. Now, it doesn't mean it's not real, okay? It just means that it's not been verified. So I'm showing you this so that you can utilize that if you want to make sure that you get the proper results and make sure that a job is quote unquote verified if you're going to apply to.
So what does verified mean? What are they verifying?
They're verifying the fact that it is a real employer. They're verifying the fact that it is a real job. The company has had to verify that this is actually an actual open position. Okay. Now, again, this is fairly new, so not all companies are on board with this, but I bring it up because this is a possible, something that could make a change in the way that you look at a particular job as to whether or not it's verified or not. Okay, and the reason that they brought this out is because they wanted to make sure that the companies make sure that they verify their jobs, because there were organizations out there that were putting jobs out there that were not real jobs. They're just searching for people who might want to apply for that particular job, and that's not really kosher. So LinkedIn's trying to mitigate that problem. Okay. Okay. How are we doing? I've got tons more than I can show you, but I'm gonna stop sharing my screen and come back here for a second to see where we are, because I know we're almost about 5 minutes till, which is when Hamid said that he had to leave. So we've been going for at least an hour here, and I need to give you guys a break.
That's okay.
How we doing? That help? Did I tell you folks something that you didn't know, I hope?
Yeah, it's super
Obviously-
helpful. I learned a few things. And I have a question. So sometimes I see people putting posts on LinkedIn,
Yeah.
I feel like it's not really professional related. It could be like they have a new baby. Congrats to them. You know, it's more like a life event. So what are your thoughts
Yeah.
about that?
Yeah. Well, okay, my thoughts are that there are that putting content on LinkedIn is a really good thing because of the fact that it generates activity, and LinkedIn loves activity. Okay. So the more active you are on LinkedIn, the more you're going to get found on LinkedIn. So posting is a good thing. Okay. However, while we're on that subject of posting, sometimes one of the better things that you can do instead of posting is commenting on other people's posts, because getting involved in the conversation is what it's all about. Engaging with that person, engaging with that content, sharing your 2 cents worth, et cetera. So posting is good, but commenting is actually better. Okay. Now, for me personally, I try and maintain a very consistent schedule, and I post once a week, every single week, and I usually post about Monday at 6 a.m. Eastern time. So that means I post before any of you folks in California are even awake. Okay. But once you are awake, you might actually interact with my stuff. Okay. But now let's talk about the kinds of things that you would post. Okay. I think honestly that kind of categorizes itself into 3 different categories. There's obviously something that is very professional. It's about your industry. It's about it's about you as a professional. It's about something that you've accomplished. It's about your organization, et cetera. So professional is great because LinkedIn is a professional site. Okay. There's something that is personal. Okay. Now that might be interesting as well because, hey, sometimes I actually might post. I think it's okay to post something that's personal and add a personal touch to a post, but that personal touch also can't be just personal. It really should have some sort of professional linkage as well. Okay. So for example, if you look back a little ways in my posts, you're going to see a post of me with a picture of me in a Star Trek uniform. Now, people who know me know that I'm a Star Trek geek, and that's just the way it works. But my point was, I was using that to make a point about, in case you've been living under a rock, okay, Star Trek has been around for a while, and Star Trek, Jean-Luc Picard had this very famous saying that he would always say, engage, okay? And that's what I was talking about. I wanted to tell them in making it a humorous and personal kind of thing, how to engage on LinkedIn. So that's what my post was all about, is how you engage on LinkedIn. So I think those 2 are okay. Okay. Again, this is totally up to you. It is, each individual has to make their own decision about whether or not what they're comfortable with posting and when they're comfortable with posting it, et cetera. But I would highly recommend that you don't go to the 3rd category. Professional is one, personal is another, but the other one is private. And to me, the things that you just mentioned, I just had a kid, or I just got married, or et cetera, okay, have nothing to do with my professional life, and I would keep them separate. That's private to me. Okay. So I would not post about those kinds of things. But that's, again, me personally. But just think of it in those terms, and then come up with a way that you can be comfortable with whatever the point is on that spectrum that would be about posting. Does that help?
No, super helpful. I mean, I agree with your assessment as well. Sometimes I feel like a lot of folks, maybe they want to create a content and make it turn into like Facebook or social media. And I feel like that's too much.
Yeah. Well,
Thank
and
you.
the good news is, okay, that you can tell LinkedIn, remember those magic 3 dots that I talked about? Okay. If you see that kind of stuff on your feed and you don't want to see it anymore, click those magic 3 dots and you can tell LinkedIn, I don't want to see this anymore. Okay. So LinkedIn will actually tailor your content to the way you want it if you are willing to do that often enough and for a long enough period of time to tell LinkedIn what you don't want to see. Okay. Because, for example, if you don't want to see something, use the 3 dots. If you do want to see something, comment on it, because LinkedIn notices that as well. Comment on it. And when I say comment on it, I don't mean say comment like good post or thank you or whatever, 2-word comments. Use it to make a comment that adds your own 2 cents worth and is at least 5 words to 10 words. Okay. And then LinkedIn will look at that, realize that you like that, and feed you more of it. Okay. So LinkedIn's algorithm is kind of like, everybody know what Pandora is? Okay, Pandora's been around forever. Pandora's a music program that feeds you music and you tell it thumbs up, thumbs down. And that's exactly what you need to do on LinkedIn as well, to control what you get and how you get it as far as LinkedIn is concerned. Okay,
Thank you.
my pleasure.
All right, so very quickly, I know some other people have some questions also, but if we can put up the poll, Ian is gonna put a just questionnaire. People in the room are already filling that. We just like to hear your feedback and what you thought of today's conversation, content, the workshop. So while we are talking, if you don't mind just filling out that evaluation, we'd like to get your feedback and send it to our speaker. Okay, continue while this thing is on your screen. Jeff, go ahead. Sorry to interrupt.
Unless there's a comment, I can go on to something else, but I've covered a lot of what I was talking about, especially with you and Ian earlier today. Oh, well, there is one more thing that I'd like to show if you got the time.
Yeah, go ahead. You can make it quick.
Okay.
That would be great. Sure.
And that is that one of the differences, we talked a little bit about premium versus free. Okay. One of the differences that has been around now for a little while, premium versus free, is that on the free account, if you have a free LinkedIn account, LinkedIn will only let you send 5 personalized notes with an invitation per month. Maybe it's 10, maybe it depends on where you are and who you are, but mine's down to 5. Okay, so that doesn't mean you can't connect with more people, but that means that you can only send 5 personalized invitations, notes with your invitation, and that's always the best practice, to send something. Everybody that I've talked to says, you should send a note with the connection request so that they know why you'd like to connect with them. Does that make sense? Right? Okay. So now the thing is, though, that you may run out of those. Okay. And if you run out of those, there are ways around the fact that you might not have the ability to send them a connection request with a personalized note, but you can talk to them. Okay. So for example, let me share my screen real quickly, and I'm going to go back to where I was before. And I'm going to bring up Hamid, because Hamid and I are not connected. Okay. Now, if I wanted to click the connect button, I would use up one of my 5 personalized invitations. See, it keeps track of you for you. Every time you click the connect button, it tells you how many you have left. But let's make believe that I'm out of personalized invitations for this month, but I'd still like to talk to Hamid, right? The cool part about it is that when you're looking at someone's profile, if you see a gold in logo over here, you know that person has paid for LinkedIn. And because Hamid is paid for LinkedIn, I don't have to be connected with him to click the message button. I always recommend clicking the message button, because when I click message, even though we are not connected, see what pops up? The fact that I can put a subject and a message in here that would allow me to talk to Hamid without actually sending him a connection request, but I can start a conversation. Okay.
One other thing to note is this one, as far as I know, can be as long as you want, whereas the note with a request is only 200 characters now. It's hard to say much.
They scaled that back as well. It used to be 300, now it's only 200. But yeah, this is an actual message, and I think actually, Stephanie, there is an actual character limit here, but I've never really run into it. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's so big that you really don't have to worry about it. Yeah. But yeah, this is a, this would allow you to, put an entire cover letter in something if you really wanted to. Okay, as an example, if you copy and paste your cover letter in there, if you wanted to send that to somebody. Okay.
If I could add one more thing.
Yes, please.
So you can also message anybody who's in a group with you. So if you go down to the bottom of their profile, you can see what groups they're in.
Perfect.
And you can see if you're in any of the same groups. You can use me as an example. I think I'm in a group with you, Jeff.
Okay, you are? Okay, so going with that it would show me the ones that I'm a member of, instead of having a join button. But if you join the group, then you can actually send that person a message through the group as well. So yes, let's see if I can bring you up. Oh boy, I can't type.
I used to say if I could spell, I'd be dangerous.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I got it. I got it so far that, okay, so there it is, okay? Now, the point being is that we're not connected, okay? So let me bring up your profile and show the difference in terms of Hamid, who is paid for LinkedIn, and you. If I click message here, LinkedIn is going to go, oh, actually, this is probably because we already have conversation.
Oh, oops,
That's
okay.
why it's okay here. Okay, so yes, I can start a message from here because you and I have conversed before, but that's because of the fact that we've conversed through the group. Okay, and as you said, going down and looking at the interest section again, clicking on groups, it will show that you are a member of, I believe I saw that before because I sent you that. There it is. There, you're a member of my group, which is called LI Tips for All Levels of Experience. So yes, that's a great addition. So, and there are more, but you know, I mean, one of the other ways that you can get around not being able to converse with someone is if they actually do post on LinkedIn, you can comment on their post. That's another way as well, right? So groups, check the message button. There's tons of ways that you can get around not necessarily having the 5 personalized messages if you run out.
Great. Any other question? Let me see if anybody in the room has any questions. No? All right. Anybody from audience, from the remote, people online? Great conversation, by the way. I noticed lots of things are going on in the chat. Hopefully, you all save the chat so you can go back to it. That's great.
Yes,
So
please save the chat. And by the way, to answer can I share a link to the group? There's the link to the group. Okay.
yeah.
So I saw that in the chat, so I got it for you. There you are.
All right. So we can leave the first of all, let's just say thanks to Jeff for great information. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. That was very nice of you. Thanks for sharing that. Again, this has been recorded, so if anybody missed something, they can come back and look at it later on. And the meeting is still on, so you're more than welcome to say, unfortunately, I have to run to pick up something. So I can leave the meeting on. Ian, Sonny are here. So feel free to stay online and keep chatting and networking and use LinkedIn, all of that. But I'll talk to you soon again. All right. I'm going to turn off this camera.
Thank you. Nice to see you, Hamid.
Thank you so much, Jeff. I appreciate that.
My pleasure.
Stay warm. Oh, by the way, I just noticed that some of you here about an hour ago got an alert that there was a tsunami alert and there was an earthquake, 7.5 magnitude, which created lots of panic. I received, I don't know how many texts and messages from family. Immediately, I got something from London, from my son who is in London. Are you okay? Are you okay? Because but it was in Eureka. Yes, I noticed that. But they said something in San Francisco coastal, 7.5, of course, is huge. So I have been bombarded with phone calls and messages that we're all safe here, everything's okay. So thank you. But it was a huge alert. So, all right, talk to you all later. Okay, I'm going
Thanks,
to.
Jeff.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Again, out there, all of this stuff and more, much more is out there on my profile as well. So the LinkedIn Guru is open 24/7, 365 out there on LinkedIn. So go check my stuff out. Thank you. Namaste.
That's great. That's great. So, okay, so obviously, the people are still online. They're more than welcome to stay. And
Thank you so much.
oh, you're welcome. I'm glad you could join us.
Super helpful. Yeah,
Thanks for
absolutely.
all the
I'm looking
questions.
forward to the recording.
Thanks for all the questions. Very helpful.
And then thank you, Ian, for jotting down the notes on the site. That was helpful also. And I think Deep has pretty good questions as well. So thank you everybody for, bringing the community together. Thank you, Hamid, and have a
You're
great
welcome.
time.
In
Thanks,
case you haven't noticed, Ian does multitasking, and Ian is the only person I've met that he can type faster than you and I can talk. So he's a
no
very
typos, right?
Yeah, he's amazing. Thanks.
Good. Thank you so much. Have a great day, everyone. Take care. Bye.